Alright, hey guys, so lately I've been playing this neat game called Kingdoms and Castles. This is a minimalistic medieval city building game, very similar to the likes of Banished, if you guys are familiar with that one. It's only $10 on the Steam store, and I'm sure it'll go on sale next week during the Steam summer sale. But let's go ahead and just start a new game, and then I'll skip forward and show you what I've been playing on. But basically, what you do at the beginning is you build your castle, and you branch out from your castle. So I'm probably going to start in this little area over here because there's some stone nearby and there's lots of trees, and there's a little witch's hut here which will be useful a little bit later. So we'll go ahead and accept, and we'll build our castle right in the middle, and I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. This is definitely a game that you can sink many hours into, but at the beginning you basically want to build a road branching out from the castle or the keep, and you want to cut down some trees as well. So I guess we'll just go maybe this way, and we'll place down some little hovels, and we'll command our little civilians to start cutting down trees. The more wood we get, the more houses we can make, and then we can start expanding from there. But there is all sorts of things that we can build later on. You can even build like military troops, like archers and warriors that you can use to keep invaders at bay. There's Vikings that will attack your village alongside dragons, and I think a little bit later on there's some ogres that will attack as well. So you kind of have to keep your guard up and build up quickly, just so you'll have enough to defend yourself later on. So this is our keep. We can click on the keep, and we can click on our advisors. They basically tell you what we need to begin with, and they're basically saying we need some farms. So let's go ahead and build some farms. I'll build farms, maybe you can build them closer to the water, which is helpful. Basically the tiles determine the farmland, so the green tiles are better and they're usually near the coastline, and the lighter tiles are not as good. So maybe we can build some farmlands over here. So we're gonna go ahead and build another road. Let's go ahead and build it like maybe here, and then we'll go this way, and then we'll build the farms over here. I'm just gonna build them on the dark tiles because that's the ones that are very fertile. As you can see, barren, fertile, and fertile. Then later on you can build windmills as well, which will increase the production, which is quite nice. Actually, we don't have to build that far out. Let's go ahead and demolish there and demolish there. And there we go. So they're gonna be cutting down more trees. We'll probably just cut down all these trees and build some more farmland on this side as well. And you can also build like timber camps, which can be used to like replant the trees and chop them as they are planted and regrown. And there's just so many different things you can do in this game, even though it's very minimalistic. As you can see here, if I zoom in, it is one of the simplest city building games I think I've ever seen. These people are just blockheads, and I don't know, I kind of find it quite charming though, that everything is so minimalistic, and the music makes it extremely relaxing. So every year, more people will come to your village, and depending on the village happiness level will determine, and how many homes you have available will determine how many people stay in the village. And the people that stay basically become your workers, and then you have this job priority list, and you can basically move these around however you like, or you can even disable them when they're not needed. So I can like disable the farmers if I wanted to now, considering it's winter and you can't really farm in the winter. So we can go ahead and do that, and we'll just disable the farmers, and the winter's about to be over. And when winter's over, you can turn on the farmers again, and they'll start farming the crops. We'll also need to build a granary to store the crops once that gets going. And we can also build an orchard, make some like apple trees, and all sorts of different stuff. Bakery, markets. Later on in the game, you'll build up your castle and build up your kingdom, and you'll have a lot more people. And it's actually just like a really simple game. Sometimes city building games can be overwhelming at first, especially ones that like force you to go through like this long complex tutorial. This is the type of game that's just really simple. You kind of get an idea what's going on, and you basically just sort of wait, save up some resources. You can fast forward a little bit if you want to, and basically you just keep building up, and you build out your roads, and you connect all your roads together so that people can easily travel between them. And the further your roads branch out, the farther away you can you can build. So always good to have roads, and your peasants will travel faster on roads as well. So right now, like I said, we're just collecting more resources. Let's see, there's 5 residents in all of these houses, so that means we definitely need more houses. So let's go and demolish that. Let's go to our job priority. We need timber workers on max right now. I think kind of good on everything else. Maybe farmers above the timber workers. Get some more wood, and then we'll build more houses, we'll get more people, and then we'll have more peasants that we can assign to various jobs. This is in a bad spot. I'm going to move that a little bit. Let's move it 1 this way. You can also click on the houses and see what they have. Eventually we're going to have to build a charcoal pit, and they can turn wood into charcoal, and they can heat their houses so they don't freeze to death in the winter. There's also like various plagues that will happen, and eventually you'll need to make some doctors to cure people of plagues or illnesses. And man, this game, it looks so simple, but trust me, this game gets very complex the further you play, and it's just overall super charming, at least in my opinion. You can even build docks and merchant ships, and once you build troops, you can actually send them to various other places, and you can build bridges to get to other islands. And this game is just, there's a lot of content for such a minimalistic game, and especially for a game that you can probably pick up for like maybe $2.50 to $5 during the summer sale. It's $10 currently, but that's full retail. I think this is really charming, but for the sake of time, let me go ahead and load up one of my saves here. So this one, some Vikings were attacking, and I have some archers over here that are ready. I'm gonna go face them out in the field. Let's go ahead and back them up so they don't get slaughtered. So Vikings will occasionally try to raid your village, and they'll even try to plunder your village of like gold, or they'll kill your villagers, and sometimes they even kidnap your villagers and like take them away on your ships. Or sometimes they can just go into your houses and set fire to everything and burn them down. So these obviously aren't the friendliest Vikings, and I have some ballista squads at the top, but they're very slow firing, and they're mainly used for dragons, but they do quite a bit of damage. And as you see, I have so many archers, they're going down fast. I have an archer tower over here that's gonna probably shoot this one. And he just plundered my treasury. He took 100 gold, but he won't be able to make it out of here alive. Let's get my troops back out. I didn't build any melee warriors, but these archers seem to do the job. So yeah, this is my kingdom that I've been working on for the past couple nights, I guess. I mean, it really doesn't take too long to get to this point or this stage in the game. But there's a lot of bad things that can happen. I've had multiple points where like half of my population has died from like illnesses or like various other reasons that I'm kind of ashamed to say. And whenever your population dies, it can be quite difficult to get started again, just because you don't have the workers necessary to work all the jobs, and you really have to look at your job priority and see like what is mandatory and what can be skipped on. Basically, you want to just focus on farming and collecting resources, and like doctors and firefighters and stuff are important too, just so like a fire doesn't kill everybody. But yeah, I just think this game is very like beautiful, even though it's such a simple game. And I just love seeing all these little blockhead people running about on their lives. You kind of just watch them. You don't really control them, but you do get to decide what jobs they have and what they're doing on a daily basis, which is kind of interesting. And basically you get to just watch as your city builds up resources, and then you get to decide what you want to build next. Over here in this corner I have mansions built up, so these cost a little bit more to make, but more people can fit inside of them. And it's kind of interesting because like this is like the low end area where I started, and I started building like a bunch of small houses, and then as my happiness level and more buildings were being produced, I worked my way up to cottages, which can hold a little bit more people, but they have to be a little bit wealthier. And then over here is like the super wealthy area, and there's a great hall where people can eat meals. There's a bathhouse, and people really love the bathhouses. There's these water canal systems to get fresh water in, and yeah, there's just a lot going on here. So at the top of the screen, you can see when the next attacks are. So the next dragon attack is in 8 years, and the next Viking attack is in 10 years. Basically, a dragon just comes by and tries to set your village on fire. But in my town, since I have so many ballista towers, the dragon usually dies pretty quickly. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this game. Just a quick look at a super charming city building game. If you're into like medieval city building games like Banished, you'll probably enjoy this one. Banished is a little bit unforgiving. This one is a little bit more charming, and I am playing on the easy difficulty. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can play on the harder mode, but there's so many different buildings you can build: a hospital, churches, taverns, and all sorts of different stuff. And it's just really neat to watch as your city grows and gets bigger, and you get to watch all the different things that happen. And there's also this witch over here. If you give her resources every so often, she'll give you spells, and if you have enough gold, you can pay to like cure the plague or feed your population or do other things that might be useful if you're lacking in some department or the other, and can be very useful early on in the game, especially if you don't have any doctors available to treat the plague. The plague can easily take out like your entire population if you're not careful. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about Kingdoms and Castles. Just a short little video. This game does go on for many hours, so I didn't want to drag it on too long, but if you guys want to check it out, there'll be a link in the description below. And I will say, just wait next week for the summer sale. There'll probably be a 50% discount. Definitely worthwhile if you're into management style strategy games. So thanks for watching, and have a nice day.